a licensed religious science practitioner. And if you're here for the meditation, you are in exactly the right place, and we're so glad you're here. So this is our time this morning, and welcome on Facebook as well. This is our time where we put our feet on the ground and settle into our seats. And just start to breathe together a little bit. Slow things down. I know it takes some significant effort to get up, get dressed, and get here. And now all that hard work is done, all that prep is done, and we're here. So let's let ourselves just arrive in our space. And go ahead and take a really luscious, deep, deep, deep breath. Let's hear it. Let it fully out. And again, just focusing on that one breath. Hold it there for a minute. And let it out. You might start to notice there's something underneath me. It's holding me up. It's a seat and it's dirty. Just go ahead and take another deep breath. What a special treat to get to breathe together. One breath. One powerful breath together. Synchronized, harmonious. Remembering that there is a center place of stillness there. Go ahead and let your shoulders drop a little. Let your eyes be soft. Let your belly be soft. Especially some of those larger muscles, thighs, arms, chest, torso. Let your spine be alive. Our nervous system can be calm and alive and awake at the same time. There's so much going on that we process throughout the week, and so let's just take another deep breath and let that week go. We did a great job with that. We did. We nailed that week. We got all of that behind us. We had a new moon on Friday, new energy, a new cycle. I love a new cycle. I love a fresh start. Today I just want to think about our ability to say yes. Just remind us we're the only ones who think in our own mind. It may not seem like that sometimes with all that we get bombarded with, and all that comes at us. But it's true, there is a boundary there. I like to think of it as a big bubble we can put around ourselves, big divine white light with a smart filter on the edge. And you get to say what you let in and what you let out and what you say yes to. I was recently reminded, I love this thought, this line that this dimension is a lot more malleable and allowing and able to be guided than we realize. I can't hear that enough. That means when we're in the flow and we're open to bigger, higher perspective, we can have some say in how things go for us every day. We can say yes to that higher flow, yes to our highest road, our highest choices, yes to all the good that's trying to get in. It's such a privilege to know how to direct thought and how to really do a prayer for ourselves, for our beautiful day, for our beautiful life. Such a gift. The power of our word, such a tremendous, powerful gift. So just breathe with me on that. The joy, the power of the yes, and the fact that all that life ever says to us is, I love you. And yeah, that's what you believe. You get it. I love you, and yes. What do you want? Please join me in a few moments of silence. What are you saying yes to today, this week, this year? And I'll come back in a few minutes. yourself just be. Take another long, slow, deep breath in. Hold for just a moment and let it go. I'm the only one who thinks in my own mind. I am, you are, we are the only ones. And we get to decide how it goes. And what we say yes to. And that breath is just a moment away. That calm that we can create. It's just a moment of stillness. A moment of presence. Thank you for joining us this morning for the meditation. Service will begin at 10:30 Eastern. Thanks for being here, and I hope you have a lovely day.
All we are is
All we want is, all we need is, all we are is love, love. All we want is, all we need is, all we are is love, If you were wondering, when you were wondering, then all that there is to give and to receive and live is right now. So be it now. Just be it now. You would like to grow, you're not letting it show and be it now. A love that yours to give and to receive and live is right now. So be it now. Just be it now. Hey, hey, hey. Don't let the weight of the world pull you with gravity.
Welcome to those who have consciously committed to becoming members this year. You're invited to attend the new member orientation class today after Sunday celebration from 12 to 2. Join us in person next Sunday, April 10th, after Sunday celebration. We will gather to enjoy some morning treats and watch a video of CFL spiritual leader, Dr. Edward Billion, speak about the future of CFL in today's world. Our first workshop has been scheduled for Sunday, April 24th at 12 p.m. Join Carissa Holmes to learn more about organic gardening and more. You can sign up today at the sign-up sheet in the lobby or through the link in the latest e-newsletter. So do you want to facilitate a workshop on Sunday afternoon? Take action together and grow by coming together as a community to experience something new. If you have an idea for a workshop, complete the 2022 CSL workshop request form. You can contact the office or the e-newsletter for the form. You do not have to be a minister or a practitioner to share your talents with our community. Divine Dining is back. Want folks to have over to share a meal, do some spoon bending, host a cookout, or create a special dessert? Gather together and support the center while having fun. Contact the office to request a Divine Dining registration form. We have our first Divine Dining event scheduled in May, and more details will be available soon. By the way, if you get our e-newsletter starting in April, it is now being published monthly. Columbus Pride is back this year for an in-person celebration. Save the dates, June 17th and 18th. If you would like to organize walkers from CCFL for the parade, let us know by contacting the office. And always, if you would like prayer after service or any time throughout the week, you can find our prayer practitioners on our website, columbuscfl.org, or you can submit a prayer request on Facebook page. Today after service, our practitioners will be in the anteroom just outside these doors. That's the news for the day. Let's all stand and sing our opening song. This door is open to you.
Just passing through, this door is open. also to all the folks that are watching us live on Facebook or will watch us later on YouTube. We are so happy you are here. We love how you show up in the world. We honor that. And we are happy to celebrate with you today and on other days. Welcome. My name is Margie Sammons. I'm a religious science practitioner, a senior at the Holmes Institute for Ministerial Studies, and the spiritual director here at the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome. Now, before we get started, I have a little PSA that I wanted to chat about. And so this year at our location, which we are, if you don't already know that, Church in a Box, so we rent space here at the Masonic Temple. And at the Masonic Temple, they have a really nice front yard, kind of a yard area in front of the building. And they have planted things in that space, and they're not going to do that this year. So they have offered it to us if we would like to use the front space in front of the building to grow some fruits and vegetables. So we can do that if we have people that are willing to come together to do that. We will use those fruits and vegetables to occasionally grace our community table, but more importantly, we want to provide fresh produce for others in our local community. And our own talented, what I call super gardener, Carissa Holmes, has volunteered to lead us in this effort if we get enough people that want to sign up for that. So let's join together to weed and water and harvest through the growing season. And if you can't participate physically, you can certainly provide plants or seeds or tools for those folks that are going to be doing that. And there's a sign-up sheet out in the lobby if you're interested in hearing more about it and becoming part of the Gather and Grow in our garden group. And, you know, I have been talking a lot about Gather and Grow this year, ever since we used it for our pledge drive back in October. So we're committed to Gather and Grow, and not just as a spiritual community, but also within our local community. And so now we have the perfect opportunity to walk our talk and do that for our community. So thank you in advance for joining us and gardening with us. So let's go ahead. I'm going to ask you to read our mission statement along with me. We serve the transformation of individual lives through education, spiritual practice, and deep community, using spirit and science of mind principles as our compass. I'd like to thank practitioner Julie Matheson for beautiful meditation this morning and for holding the high watch for our services today so that we can raise our consciousness. And I'd like to reintroduce Tammy Evans.
We now begin our sacred service. A reading from Eric Butterworth, Practical Metaphysics, A New Insight in Truth. Demonstration is not working magic. It is not working miracles. It is not the something out of nothing kind of process. It's releasing your imprisoned splendor. That which you desire is already within you. Now let the music take us within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the grace, wait upon the grace. I will make a quiet place, a quiet place within my mind, quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the grace, wait upon the grace.
As I drop into that quiet space in my heart, I tune into the heartbeat of the universe as it pulses in rhythm with my own expanded heart. Be still, my heart, and know that there is but one God, one mind, one spirit, and one power. This power is always creating. It is unique and it is wonderful. Spirit is a living, moving, and having its being in us and as us. I know us as Spirit knows us. Creative, unique, and magnificent. What is true about God is absolutely true about us. We are the way in which God shows up in this world. I claim today that we move beyond doubts and fears and about our abilities, our talents, our imagination. That we say yes to knowing that we are limitlessly sourced by a limitless source. I remember that God is all there is and all we are is God. We are an ocean of wonder, magnificence, and majesty, just the way we are. With this, I am so grateful that I know, that I know, that I know. In every cell of my body, I release us into the laws. Always said yes to the yes, and I let it go. I let it be, and so it is.
I will make a quiet place, a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the grace, wait upon the grace.
whole life that's spinning, 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 second threads, spinning higher than my little head. Oh, am I the spider wanna fly, or am I the web? How can I be the one at the core? How can I be the one that I've been waiting for? Could it be that I am the reason why stars so high above me know that waves they're spinning, spinning, spinning second threads, spinning all inside my little head. I am both the spider and the fly, and I am everything and nothing. The lights becoming something and streak across the sky in brilliant light. I'm spinning, spinning, spinning second threads. Everything is spinning in my head. Spinning, spinning, spinning second threads. I am both the spider and the fly, and I am the
How beautiful. Move this around a little bit. I may need some help. We'll see. We are so blessed to have this trio and that voice with us. Thank you. Okay, well, so as we move into a new month, so yes, it's April, so each month we change our focus of our yearly theme. So our yearly theme is living everyday wonder. And so we move, in March, we move from play, which is our focus, into creativity for April. So now I want to remind you all that way back in January, when we began this journey of living everyday wonder with Spirit, I asked you to kind of draw a map to indicate where you stood in the different focus areas that we're going to talk about. This would probably be helpful if I put my glasses on so I could see what I wanted to say. So it looked like this, and everybody had some, and if you didn't get it in January, Julie has some back there, and you can pick one up. You can jump in at any time with this, but basically what we did was we did a little contemplation exercise, and I asked you to mark on this map where you felt expansive and where you felt restricted about these different areas. So we started with your R, inner life, Last month we were in play, and this month we are in creativity. So this is my personal little map. It's actually called a Wheel of Life tool. And so I also, on the back, we're going to kind of re-look at ourselves in December. And it's really your personal little map. You don't have to share it with anyone. So each month we're going to give you some tools through our talk or just tools in general to use to expand living everyday wonder. So at Columbus, or at Centers for Spiritual Living, we envision a world that works for everyone and all of a creation. And our mission at CSL is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. And so this little map is just one of those tools. And as I said before, you don't have to have started back in January. You can jump on the personal transformation bandwagon at any point you want in your life. So since it is important to cultivate a sense of wonder and interest whenever we are and appreciate the everyday experiences, we're visiting all these different aspects each month. So next month we'll look at emotions. We go through body, relationship. So there's all kinds of areas of your life. So again, as I said before, we're going to talk about creativity this month. And I don't want to hear yourself say to you, oh, I'm not creative. I can't paint. I can't draw. I can't sing. I can't do any of those crafty things. I know you're saying it to yourself. I know you are doing that, and I'm here to tell you to stop it. Because you should not be saying that. Because this is what I would like you to understand about creativity. Real creativity is the act of expression. It's not the product, it's not the performance. So your life is your palette, and your dreams and your desires are the medium within which you work. Now I'm going to paraphrase Ernest Holmes here, but basically he said this about that. He said, we are in the laboratory of the divine. What then shall we create? So, life is meant to be lived in a creative fashion. And living is a verb. And it requires our conscious and active participation. Without action, without application, without practice, we aren't living. We're merely just existing. We're going through the paces. So our themes this year are providing you with some food for thought to be able to creatively expand in areas of your life through action, application, and practice, if you so desire. Creativity is who and what we are. Seen or unseen, Spirit always creates through every breathtaking scenic vista and through every challenge we experience in our lives. When we listen and respond to our intuitiveness and to the nudges that come to us, to the sparks, we dance with the divine, and we dance with creation itself. Cause and effect, creative expression, inspired perception, clear intention are for the many, not just the few. They are for us all. So our creativity journey each week this month begins today. We're talking about each person's individual choice to heed the creative impulse and to redefine what creativity is in your mind. My wish for you is to open up to an expansive definition that is not born from our possibly limited thought. Now, next week we're going to explore the creative journey and growth which occurs as we expand and step out of our comfort zones. That'll be fun. Our third week will bring us Easter, and we'll look at Easter as a transformational episode in our personal stories. And finally, the fourth week of April explores bringing our creativity into the world. So when we dare to present our talents, gifts, and passions, we are both vulnerable as well as victorious. So authenticity is the difference between performance and expression. Performance is for others, but expression is for the self. So today we move beyond doubts and fears about our abilities, our own talents, or imagination. Choosing to know ourselves as worthy of and fully connected to the infinite Creator. Today we anchor in knowing that we are limitlessly sourced by a limitless source. And that includes our own creativity. What is true about God is absolutely true about us. So we are saturated now with the magnificent artistry of the universe itself. We create from that. And yes, we are the ways in which Spirit shows up in the world. In science of mind, we know that God is all there is. Therefore, all we are is God. We replicate infinite love, power, and presence because we are all of that. The law of cause and effect is provable and just as usable, universal, and accessible as the physical laws of gravity and electricity. You know, Raymond Charles Barker said in Spiritual Healing for Today, we don't call on the name of Edison to turn on the lights or the name of God to turn on power. We need only to recognize it and know it is there. So we know we are individualized celebrations of the infinite divine. Yes, we are all connected to one another, but we are all unique in our expressions. We are in the oneness, yet we are not all sameness. We are more than single drops in the ocean, as Rumi wrote. We are that ocean of wonder, magnificence, and majesty in our individual expressions of our own lives. Now, for some, this is a hard concept to understand, and Ernest Holmes presented this concept to us from scientific, science of mind. He was proving things scientifically. He would give us this as an idea from macrocosm to microcosm, God to us, and that's true. But he also offered the idea in a more loving and user-friendly, heart-centered way. So in the book, Practical Application of the Science of Mind, which used Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind philosophy and was written by Willis Kinnear, he said this: there is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination and proclaims itself through every creative endeavor. It has produced sages, saints, and saviors, and will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared. So what does it mean when we say Spirit moves or works to us, through us, and as us? We teach that we are not just part of a power and presence that is greater than its creation, we say that this power and this presence is here to be used by its creations. It is never used up, it is never absorbed or exhausted by those creations. But we also know that we are the face and the body of creation itself. So if we live and move and have our being in God, in spirit, then spirit is living, moving, and having its being in and as us. We are how God expresses in the world. Without you and me in our physical forms, God's ideas are unrealized. So let me tell you this story. It's kind of a funny little story. I might even call it a joke, but I gotta tell it. And this is kind of an illustration of how we are God expressing in the world. So there was this terrible storm and it was starting to flood. And this very pious man, he decided to climb up to his roof to avoid the waters. But before he did, his neighbors shouted at him to come and jump in their truck because they were going to leave immediately while the roads were still somewhat passable. And the man said, "No, I am praying to God and he will save me." So the neighbor could not delay and he left quickly while the water began to swirl and deepen within in the neighborhood and the streets. So this faithful guy made it up to the top of his roof and he was praying passionately to God to save him from drowning. And as he held on to the roof, a fireman came by in a boat to bring him in from the roof. And the man said, no, God will save me. So the fireman went to the next house to rescue the neighbors who hadn't made it into the truck with the neighbor on the other side of him. And then a bit later, a helicopter circling the neighborhood lowered a rescue worker down from the copter to pull the man up to safety. And again, the man said, no, God will save me. So the helicopter moved on, and finally, at the peak of the rain and the flood, the house shifted off its foundation and began to float faster and faster away. Sadly, the man atop his roof drowned. So this man came to the pearly gates, and he thanked Peter as Peter led him in. And he went over to God, who was doing the greeting for all the newcomers, and he said, "Dear God, I am a faithful man, and I prayed to you to deliver me from the flood. Why did you not do that?" And God replied, "I sent your neighbor. I sent the fireman, and I sent the helicopter. What more was I to do?" So, I love that joke. Whatever. Because it really illustrates how we are God in action. So the moral of the story is that God expresses through us in the world, and it is through us that consciousness becomes manifest. Consciousness demonstrates. The field of consciousness, I like to liken it to the quantum field of all possibilities in consciousness. It's through us that lives are touched, that donations are given, that help is provided, that love is expressed. We are the means for the ideas that touch lives, hearts, and souls. We have and we are the immediate access to the divine. And we must intentionally think and act knowing that the infinite invisible, as Joel Goldsmith calls God, responds to us just as it did for Jesus or Buddha or anybody else. So our clearer understanding of oneness happens in our claiming, or in our willingness to know, and in our progressively growing conscious experience of it, of this oneness. Regular disciplined spiritual practice cultivates that knowing, and being present to presence opens us to as God or as Spirit living. In saying yes to the yes, we agree to partner with God. We can partner with God for joy, peace, and wholeness. Our great gift, however, is our yes to imagining and creating our lives. So both our conscious and our unconscious beliefs create our lives. When we reveal, heal, and intentionally change our beliefs from limited to positive possibility, and we grow our spiritual muscle through that regular disciplined spiritual practice, we will see our new beliefs express in form, or demonstrate, or manifest is how we say it, but we see them express in form. But here's the deal, our conviction is vital. And that conviction grows little by little. Just as a small seed is planted and nurtured, so must our knowing of this be nurtured and attended to with love and awareness. Because if we believe that life is against us, our experience will be limitation, discomfort, health issues, or perhaps painful relationships. These types of demonstrations or manifestations are mirroring our limited thinking. Once we know how to believe and to think from worthiness, positivity, and wonder, and we do this more consistently, then we leave behind the suckiness and we live more fully in success and in joy. Now, does that mean that everything then will be perfect and rosy? No, it does not. But what we can do and we will be able to do is to see through the conditions of the physical world and know the capital T truth of who we are, because we are an expression of Source itself. So as we consciously work to change our thinking and to know that we are worthy, at first our changed thoughts may express as, and we always say this in foundational classes, parking places, better health, relationship harmony, and being in the right place at the right time. So we always would call that like parking places, princesses, and palaces. So as we change our thinking, we see these kinds of demonstrations begin in our lives. And that's good, because it shows us that changing your thinking changes your life. And as we grow in our understanding and our acceptance of this divinity within us, then we begin to embrace greater possibilities and co-create even greater demonstrations. I think Tammy said this earlier in her prayer. The universe has only one answer, and it is yes. The law of cause and effect is unbiased, and it doesn't play favorites. Just like the sun shines on the just and the unjust, the universe, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call the thing itself, it doesn't play favorites. That which we give law to work with, especially when we add the power of imagination, passion, and enthusiasm, and energy, that which we give the law to work with will demonstrate in response. And when we start by inviting Spirit to partner with and support us through our meditation and our contemplation, we often reveal to ourselves dreams and desires that we didn't even know we had. So let me just tell you another story about how this works and is working now your life. So I just said that we should start with spirit. And this community, the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, has always been led by spirit. And recently, we have been very creative in our co-creation with spirit. Some would say we stepped way out of our comfort zone into creativity. And how do we do that? Well, we hadn't had anybody apply for our senior minister position for a while, so what did we do? We followed a suggestion from home office to be creative, to think out of the box, and to offer a spiritual director position to a ministerial senior. We did that, and now we have a spiritual leader. Since that decision in February, things have been manifesting. If you noticed our announcements today, you'll remember that we have our first workshop on gardening on the books, as well as our first divine dining event coming up sometime in May, and you'll hear more about that. We also have an opportunity to serve in the gardening outreach for the local community. These are all an example of the universe saying yes to us. We, you, me, the whole community, we've used our power of imagination, passion, enthusiasm, and energy to co-create these events with spirit. We're not doing it on our own. You know, our Vision Corps has been doing the regular disciplined spiritual practice of visioning. And they've done that to bring us the vision from spirit for our center. And then we are manifesting dreams and desires we may not have known we had. We are creating ways to gather and grow in and as spirit. So Neville Goddard wrote, "Our imagination is our connection to God." So feed your imagination and enjoy bringing forth and coloring the experiences of what you want. Now we say yes to the yes by trusting our desire to be more. We say yes to the yes by communing with spirit, the thing itself, through meditation, study, classes, contemplation, visioning, all those spiritual practices. We say yes to the yes by our intention to go beyond what we have thought, believed, or experienced in the past. You know, this principle upon which we lean never is bound by precedent. And what that means is that we are never limited by past experiences, old beliefs, or what's gone on before. So you just got to go for it. Individually and as a center and as a community. So how do you go for it? How do we allow the creativity within us to bloom and blossom? Particularly when you're that person that says, I'm not creative. So first thing, you got to change that. But what are the spiritual tools you can choose to use to expand your own God-given creativity? Well, go to spirit first, and that's through spiritual practice. Ask what spirit wants you to create by means of you. And by the way, that's what we call visioning, asking spirit's best and highest for you. Then amplify your intuitive sparks, those inclinations, with delight and curiosity. So take it further. You could choose an area for your life that is calling for change or just a shift, and write down what you want in the present tense as if you have it now. Be imaginative. Create that affirmation for yourself that is in the present and that is positive. You could participate in classes. You could participate in spirit groups or any kind of group to surround yourself with others who are creating newness in their lives. You can even journal personally about the changes your experiences, the questions that come up. You can keep that to yourself, or you could share what you're journaling with other students of truth or a practitioner. You could also journal about what your limiting old beliefs are. Acknowledge them, write them down. Look at what the origins of those beliefs might have been. Where did they come from? Was it a parent? Was it a teacher? Was it an old religious paradigm? Just know that that is not who you are today. And you can take that and dismantle that belief by declaring often that you live and move and have your being in the divine mind. And that nothing can oppose the truth of your own innate and wonderful wholeness. You can practice random acts of creativity, especially if you don't think you have any talent or creative gifts. You just disrupt that inner narrative. Put a pin in it, stop it. Approach creativity with childlike wonder. Color. Get some colored pencils. Do a mandala. Do finger paints. Get a group of people together to do something fun and creative together. And don't forget to choose to celebrate all of your discoveries and demonstrations, because whether they seem small or huge, they are evidence that spiritual law, is working. So there, I think I've given you 6 options that you can put in your spiritual tool chest. Choose any one or more. Just choose what feels right for you. So, Gary Zukov, in his book, The Mind of the Soul, said this: choosing is the act of creation. The most important choices you make are the choices about how you see yourself, the universe, and your relationship to the universe. And it's not just you as an individual that gets to choose. Think about us as a community. As a community, we can also practice random acts of creative caring. When we look for ways to be of service, we open the channels for greater self-esteem, inspiration, possibility, and even prosperity. Think about our opportunity to participate in the community garden. We have a prospect of building that together. So isn't that a great opportunity to be creative together as a community? Think about what will we be able to manifest or demonstrate when we work together, when we have fun together. And I want to bring us back to the quote that Tammy shared this morning from Eric Butterworth. He said, "Demonstration is not working magic. It's not working miracles. It's not the something out of nothing kind of process. It's releasing your imprisoned splendor. That which you desire is already within you." So as your life unfolds and you move forward this month, living your everyday wonder through creativity, I want to share an affirmation with you, and you can use this affirmation to remind yourself of your divine connection to Spirit. It is this: I know myself as Spirit knows me, creative, unique, and wonderful. So let's take this into prayer. So what I know is that I am always walking in this world with Spirit. Spirit, Source, that thing I call God, the thing itself, is always there as power and possibility and love and light and joy and creativity beyond what I could imagine by myself. And what I know about this great power of creativity, about this divinity, is that I am connected. That each and every spiritual being in a human body is connected to this powerful creative source, to this consciousness that is the field of all possibilities. And I know that when I make a choice, I am co-creating with that power. And what I claim is that those choices that are made are powerful, are creative, are loving, are expansive. I know that each and every person is that spirit, that creativity, that power expressing. I claim for the world that we all choose to express in love, in assistance, in compassion, in peace, in joy. I say yes to the yes of creativity with spirit. And my heart is overflowing with thanks, with appreciation, and with gratitude for this experience of divine creativity with Source. So I release this affirmative prayer into the law because I know that the law only and always says yes. I close by saying amen, ashe, and I invite you to close with me by saying, and so it is.
Something to say, I got something to say. Lean right in.
giving of our gifts. And I want to thank everyone for the way that you are continuing to consciously contribute to the center during these times, and we are honored to be able to continue to support you spiritually. We absolutely appreciate the gifts and the conscious contributions you give to Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. Your contributions are important because it helps us to fulfill our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. So as we engage with the law of circulation, we remember that God is our source, and we are circulating Spirit's energy in the form of money by giving and receiving. If you are here today and you want to give through the square, Robin has that back in that direction. So let's just say our affirmation. If we can, take your gift and hold it up against your heart, or just put your hands to your heart. My gift goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So as we witness the law of circulation, we're going to sing, God, You Are.
1, 2, 3, 4.
God, You are. Every mountain, God, You are. Every ocean, God, You are. Every canyon, every inch of earth and sky, God, You are. Every morning, God, You are. Every midnight, God, You are. Every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is You. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is You. God, You are. Every sunrise, God, You are. Every moon glow, God, You are. Every starshine, every inch of earth and sky, God, You are. Every springtime, God, You are. Every snowfall, God, You are. Every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is You. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is You. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is You. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is You.
Everything above, everything below, everything I know. There is only one circulating spirit. It circulates love, light, and goodness. It circulates through us so that we can spread this love, light, and goodness to others, and the flow is effortless. I accept all of this goodness, and I open the door for this and more. I claim that our abundance and prosperity are growing as we grow. I know that we are guided, guarded, and directed towards so much more than we can even imagine. I release us into the law, knowing that its good and perfect work is done and multiplied. I let it go, and please join me in singing.
And so it is, and so we let it be. And so it is, and so we let it
Now this is the gratitude rant time, which I love. Thanking everybody that comes here and has a part in our Sunday celebration. So I'd like to thank Our practitioners, Julie Matheson for meditation and holding high watch. Tammy Evans for being on platform today. A big thank you to our featured musician, Carissa Holmes, along with our center trio, Tony Bernardi on piano, Steve Paracas on bass, and Jimmy Casto on drums. We've got Rob Kuhn back there on sound. We got Julie Colburn, our service coordinator. We've got Dave up here doing our live streaming on Facebook. We've got Kristen Wilcock over there on slides. Our song leaders, Michelle Chambers and Mac Ware, and all the other volunteers that helped create this sacred space. Thank you so much. Last but not least, I want to thank all of you that showed up today and all of you that are watching live on Facebook right now, and those of you that in the future will be watching us on YouTube. Thank you. If you're joining us for the first time today, we welcome you on your way out the door. Julie has a welcome packet. Also from 12 to 2 today, we're going to do a new member orientation in the community room. Got a few snacks, got some coffee, some water, some orange juice to talk about science of mind. So you're more than welcome to join us for that. Now, let's say our blessing with me. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is.
So let's all stand up and sing our closing song, Each and Every Day. This is one of those days, I believe. Thank you, Margie.
Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Joy. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some joy. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some joy. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some joy. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some light. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some light. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some light. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Each and every day I know I'm gonna share some love. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Peace, love, and blessings to you all.